Hey guys, Scott from scottsweb.dev here. Today I'm going to talk to you about WordPress speed. I see a lot of questions on the internet about how do I speed up WordPress, how do I make my website faster, and there's really a lot of different elements that go into that. There's no one size fits all answers, and basically we're just going to run through a list and not get too into detail here. We'll save other videos for getting into the details. But the first thing you're going to want to do to speed up your website is to run a Lighthouse page speed score. And that's going to give you like a baseline score of how fast or slow your website is. 100 is the best, 0 is the worst it can get. I've never seen a site actually get 0. Um, you'll want to avoid layout shifts in your website. What this means is like giving images heights and widths so that the browser can reserve space for them. It means like fonts when you load fonts and make sure they're display swapped so that the browser can load in a font while it's waiting for a font to download or be available. You're going to want to load in only the necessary scripts and style sheets for your page to load. Like you don't want to load in style sheets for every other page on your website on one specific page. During your build process or your minification process or even just straight up your files, you should only include style sheets for the page that you're on and the header and footer, and that's it. Just what you need to display that page. Scripts can be deferred and they can be loaded after the page has been finished loading. You're going to want to do this with third-party scripts, even your scripts on your website that aren't completely necessary to run. Usually with WordPress, we'll have like jQuery, and that should be loaded as soon as possible. And then all of the other scripts can be loaded after the page is loaded. Third-party scripts can be deferred, so they're non-blocking. And involving interactive elements like Google Maps or YouTube videos, you're going to want to load those after your page loads as well. You can do that using Intersection Observer. If it's down on the page, you can do that with on user interaction. You're just not going to want to load that immediately. It will kill your page speed score. You can use a placeholder element in place of the actual video or map or whatever embed that you have and swap it out for the real thing after the page is finished loading. And when I say finish loading, I mean on DOM document ready or on jQuery document.ready. That's when you would load your scripts in a non-blocking manner. Even things like Google Analytics, that's where you can load it. Another big one is images. You don't want to use like JPGs or PNGs everywhere. You should be using WebPs or SVGs. There are some tools you can use to convert your images from JPG or PNG to .webp. There's also plugins. I always recommend WebP Express. I actually have a video on it that will convert all of your existing images in your theme and uploads to WebP images. So for images, not only is it the type of image, the WebP, but also the size. Like if you see this image right here, it's just a little square. There's no way I'd want to have like a 2000 pixel image just being shown right here. You want to load in your images in a size that is appropriate for the size they're displayed at. You're not going to get it exact because people have different screen sizes. Your container might be fluid and it changes, but you'll want to load in an image just large enough to fill this area and not much larger. That way you're not wasting your viewers' bandwidth. Some of them might be on slow connections or on mobile. So just keep that in mind when you're loading images. Another thing you'll want to do is minify and combine your CSS and JavaScript files. This makes it so there's only one request to the server to load all the CSS and the JavaScript. You could do this in your build process, or a plugin can do it for you. I like to use W3 Total Cache. That's my favorite caching plugin. It can also cache the pages as well, disk caching, database caching, object caching, browser caching, all kinds of caching you can do with W3 Total Cache. And you don't have to use a plugin. You can configure your server to do this kind of caching too. And I think that's it. If you follow these general guidelines, you can get a page that's going to be really fast, and you can also have it be really dynamic and have all kinds of third-party scripts. You just have to load them in the proper way so that the page loads first and then everything else loads in a non-blocking manner. And by following these general guidelines, you can easily get a score above 90 on page speed. I've had highly dynamic sites that I tried really hard on that I've gotten 100s on. It's not always possible to get 100, or sometimes you just have to load things in a certain way, or maybe like your boss tells you to do this if it's against best practice. So you just try to do the best that you can. Um, but following these guidelines is definitely a good start, and you can get good page speed scores. So thanks for watching. Hope this video was helpful. If it was, please consider liking or subscribing to my channel. Lots of videos coming up. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.